everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Madison. It is nice to meet you. Today we are spilling all the tea. I'm gonna give you the pros and cons, why I chose my law school. I'm gonna leave nothing unsaid. We are gonna talk about everything. So, I hope you guys are excited. I have a lot of notes here. I wrote them with my new gel pens that I showed in my last video. My school supplies haul, man, I was having fun. Okay, that was a tangent. Today I'm going to be talking about why I chose my law school. I'm going to Washington University in St. Louis. I'm going to be a 1L starting in the next couple of weeks here. So if you want to follow my journey, I would love to have you as a subscriber. It means so much to me when you subscribe. I love talking to you guys. I love hearing about your experiences. It's just, it means a lot to me. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can do that as well. So we are going to get right into the video. I'm going to start with the pros because there are more pros than cons. Obviously, why would I go to a school where there were more cons than pros? Especially if I've claimed numerous times that I am going to my dream law school. Obviously, there aren't going to be a ton of cons, but I do have a few. Pro number one are their clinics and externships. Now, WashU has so many clinics and externships. I feel like they truly have one for any area you could be interested in. First, I'll define what a clinic is in case you don't know. I grabbed this definition directly from the WashU Law website, so that's why I'm reading it, but I didn't know what one was when I started looking for law schools, so I thought I'd tell you. Under supervision of faculty, clinic students provide legal advice in litigation or transactional assistance to clients, and there are a variety of different specializations. So the ones I'm interested most in are the immigration clinic and the post-conviction relief clinic. I am so happy with the amount of clinics that WashU offers and how much they encourage you to partake. I think 80% of students participate and 40% of students participate in more than one. So the definition of an externship is it places students in the community as members of law offices and nonprofit organizations, and this will allow you to go anywhere in the country while you're in law school. Very cool. They have like judicial clerkship, externship, that's something I'm interested in, but they have so many and they really encourage you to partake in them, which I think is really cool. Definitely one of the main selling points of WashU for me was the variety of externships and clinics offered and knowing that I can find one that suits my specific interests. So next, I'm going to talk about the location. I feel like for some students potentially considering WashU, the location could be a con, but I'm Midwest born and raised, baby. This is where I'm from. I went to undergrad 15 minutes away from WashU. WashU has a good reputation if you're from Missouri. It's like, oh, WashU, that's a great school. I knew I didn't really want to leave St. Louis for law school, so it was honestly a perfect option for me. The location is great. Definitely something I prioritized when doing my law school search was the location. And for WashU being outside of the T14, the degree is still fairly portable, meaning they place a lot of people in New York, in DC, and then it's comforting to me knowing that if I do want to practice outside of Missouri after I graduate, I do have that option and I'm not kind of stuck in this Midwestern bubble. The next thing is big law numbers, especially for outside of the T14. So WashU clocks in, some years it's higher, some years it's lower, at about 50% big law placement. I have talked about being interested in big law mostly for student loan purposes. I think it will be something that I go for. Also just to get the experience. I've heard it is valuable experience to have. You get a lot of hands-on work straight out of law school. Also, they have good clerkship numbers as well. I don't know them off the top of my head, but they're good on both the federal and the state level, and that is something I'm also interested in. I mean, who doesn't want to secure a nice clerkship after grad? Put that on your resume. It looks really good. It can lead to higher salaries once you get into law firms and things like that. Now, the law school building location. If you watched my video where I went on a tour of my law school, I will put it in the cards. It was a really fun video. I loved going. I really enjoy that the law school building is nestled away on campus. It makes the rest of campus extremely accessible, and I don't feel like the law school is kind of isolated from the rest of the school, which I have seen is the case with other law schools. So I do really like the location of the law school building. In addition, I really like the atmosphere. Now, this is very subjective. It really depends on you, but I did visit WashU and went in the law school building when I had my admissions interview back in February. And I felt that the atmosphere was very relaxed. I didn't feel tense. I felt like I fit in there. And that is something that is really important. I felt comfortable there. I could see myself there. And that's something that I don't think you know how that feels until you feel it. But when you feel like you belong somewhere, I don't believe you should discredit that feeling. Going along with that, I did sit in on a class and I loved it. I mean, the professor seemed so knowledgeable, and honestly, I'm kind of a creep. I went on the website and I read through the CVs of all the faculty, and I know this is how it is at all law schools. All law school professors are very established, have very impressive CVs and very impressive careers, but I was just like fangirling, like, oh my gosh, these people are so well respected and so knowledgeable. But I feel like that's the case with all law schools, so I wouldn't say that sets WashU apart from other schools, but it just was something I wanted to note because I think I'm gonna have some really cool professors that I see as mentors, and I'm very excited about that. I feel like an individual. Now, this one is so important. I do not just feel like a number or a statistic. I really do feel like an individual. I feel like when I get an email from the admissions committee and they're talking to me, or I get an email from the career center, I feel like they know me and they take an interest in me and they care a lot about my individual success. And I think that is something you need to look out for when you are considering a law school, is, do I feel like an actual person? And I've always felt like that at WashU, so that's definitely a pro. And that kind of leads into, they offer a lot of resources. Since I was accepted in March, they have offered an abundance of resources for me. Resume editing, cover letter editing. Next week I have a mock interview. They are just offering so many things to prepare you for the real work world, and I really appreciate that. I feel like I'm gonna go into the job search not completely blind because I know what to expect because of the resources they are offering. And the final pro is generous scholarship money. WashU is known to be very generous with their scholarship money. They were very generous to me. I'm very appreciative. So the scholarship money was great, and I've heard a lot of people say the same thing. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that WashU doesn't give good scholarship money, because they really do. So now that we've went through the pros, I do have a few cons. Now, con number one, surprise to nobody, the cost. Now, I'm not just saying it because law school is expensive. We all know that law school is expensive. I just think that WashU is kind of really expensive. I do have a scholarship, but their tuition is still expensive. Sorry, I'm reading the numbers. WashU tuition is $60,900 as of right now. Obviously, we know that increases every year. Who knows with COVID if they'll freeze it or whatever. Harvard's tuition is $67,081. So for $7,000 more, I could go to Harvard. Granted, if I could get in, which I couldn't, but you know, it just seems like WashU's really expensive. I'm not saying anything groundbreaking here. Law school's expensive, but I feel like it's just really expensive. So that's con number one, is the cost. Obviously, we knew that was coming. Con number two, this one kind of contradicts something I said on the pros side, but I will explain myself. So I said I liked that the law school building is nestled in campus. I like that because I feel connected. I feel like things are accessible. However, I have read that there is a downside to this, and this is undergrad students raiding the law school building. A lot of law students have complained about this. Obviously, I'm not gonna know because of COVID right now, but maybe I'll get a feel for this next year. But I've heard that it's really hard for law students to navigate and like get food in between classes, find places to study and stuff, because undergrads constantly are raiding the building. So that is something to think about. I think that is a definite con. I'll have to be the judge of it whenever I start school, but while I was researching WashU before I accepted my offer, it is something I read multiple times, that they do have a problem with undergrads flooding the law school building. And this is my final one. WashU's numbers do show a degree of portability. You're not stuck in the Midwest. You can go pretty much anywhere in the country to practice, but I have read that WashU doesn't seem to have super strong name recognition outside of the Midwest, except for people who are very knowledgeable of law schools or they have direct connections to WashU. This is just going off of things that I've read while I researched before deciding. We'll have to see how true this actually is whenever I get out there. Just something I've read, that some people who go to practice in a completely different state will be like, I went to WashU, and people will be like, I have no idea what that is. Is it really a con? I'm not sure. Obviously, it doesn't have the same lay prestige as like Yale or Harvard, and you wouldn't expect that. So I don't know if it's really a con. Maybe I'm reaching a little bit with that one, but you know, we'll see. We'll see how things play out. That is all for the video of why I chose Washington University in St. Louis for law school. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're considering WashU, I'm gonna be there, so maybe you should go too. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you would subscribe. I hope this was helpful. Even if you're not considering WashU, maybe it gave you some factors that you should consider in the schools you are thinking about. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.